Hey Hart fans, Butch Hartman here. How you guys doing today? It's so good to see you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and the little bell notification. The bell sounds like this. No, like this. That's better. Okay, when you get that bell, you know, you can find out when all these videos come out and you can join us all the time. Thanks very much. Also, if you guys want me to do you a drawing that I do free, that's right, I do drawings now. I do drawings for people. They're called commissions. If you guys want a commission from me, just click the link down below and I, Butch Hartman, will do a drawing for you. All right, thanks so much. All right, guys, doing a segment on my show now called TOONA, T-O-O-N-A. It's all about the cartoons, exactly, like I talk like I'm Italian. I have Italian relatives, they kind of talk that way. Anyway, so TOONA is about talking about cartoons, examining cartoons. I talk about cartoons all the time on my channel, obviously, but I talk about my cartoons a lot. I'm still going to talk about my cartoons here on TOONA as well, but TOONA gives me the chance to bring in outside guests who've done some amazing work in the realm of cartoons as well. And today we're going to have a fantastic artist on. His name is Robb Pratt, P-R-A-T-T, Robb Pratt. Robb's amazing. So Robb was a storyboard artist for me on Danny Phantom back in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2004, and did a bunch of Danny Phantom storyboards, did an amazing job. And he and I worked together, and he's just taken off like a rocket ever since and become this astounding animator. He's done an amazing job on some of his own independent short stuff, and I want to show some of that to you right now. We'll show you Robb's film, or his collection right now, and I'll react to it, what I saw. Then we'll get Robb on the show, talk to him all about his work. So here we go. We're going to watch some amazing animation by Robb Pratt. He's a huge Superman fan, a huge superhero fan. And in fact, I should have got a Superman. Why didn't we put a Superman figure here?
Hey, you got it. It wasn't me.
No, I mean, Saitama, I love One Punch Man, but again, we should have had a Superman figure here.
Should have, could have, but didn't.
Well, I'm sorry. So let's watch Robb Pratt's stuff real quick. I'm going to react and we'll get Robb on. Here we go. So check this out. Here we go. All right, so. Oh, Superman fighting a giant robot. Very cool. I love the style. Clark Kent. The little curl pops out. Very awesome. It's very Max Fleischer-y from the 1940s. I love it. Nice revolving spin here. Bizarro. Love the lettering. Love the color. Flash Gordon. This is so cool. Who animates Flash Gordon? We got Flash and Dr. Zarkov, and two very cool retro-looking, Art Deco-looking robots. Very awesome.
Zarkov, I faced the defensive line with Chicago Bears. Can't imagine anything.
Just the natural movement is really fantastic. This is this is the color on this. Oh, this monster, very cool. I love the angle there, Oh, fantastic. Carman. Who is Carman? Awesome.
You know, thank goodness. Oh, great. She didn't put the placard up. Everyone screws up, and it's up to Carman to clean up the mess.
Love it. I just love the movement. I just love his movement. Really, really great animation. Now, who are these characters? Love the movement. Oh, I love that shadow side. Eva Strongbird and the Marine. Oh, very cool. And there we go. All right, that's, what is that, 59? It's a minute 45. A minute 45 of genius from Robb Pratt. Excellent stuff. My first thoughts. I just think that what I saw looks great. I love, like I said, I love his the flow of his movement. What I love about Robb's stuff is it's 2D. You don't see a lot of 2D animation out there anymore. We're going to get some 2D animators on here. Obviously, a lot of the guys I talk to are old school guys, but still, since everything is CG now, you don't see a lot of great 2D animation, really a lot. And I just love the way it's just so refreshing to see it. And I can really see Robb's passion. I know he loves doing this so much, and the passion really comes through, which is key. If you're an artist, man, the passion can really be felt in your work. Make sure that you draw and paint or whatever with just joy and happiness, because you know what? It really comes through in the painting. People can feel it. It's a weird thing. They can feel it, though. And I love his Superman design. Love that look of Superman. I know I've actually seen more of his stuff, and I know there's more of it. I'd love to have him send another reel of it, but this is great. Love the Bizarro look. I would love to see a whole series animated of Superman that way. I just love that whole time. It's like looks like 1940s or so, and Superman just the design. His design's fantastic. And Flash Gordon, my gosh, who animates Flash Gordon? I don't think I've ever seen an animated Flash Gordon. I've seen the movie Flash Gordon from the 80s. Flash, I've seen that, which is great, by the way. Yeah, fantastic stuff on Flash Gordon. My only thought on that would be the sound. The sound mix is very important when you're doing sound on cartoons or any movie. I think the music was a little too loud. We could have brought the music down, brought the dialogue up, because it's always important to hear what your characters are saying. So a lot of musicians want to bring the music way up because that's what they do, and then a lot of writers want to bring the dialogue up because that's what they do. But when you're mixing a show, it's very key to mix the elements properly so the audience can understand what's going on. You don't want the audience ever take note to be confused about anything. I wasn't confused here. Rob did a great job, but just one little, I think a little sound mix would have been just. That's my only comment on that. But I love the angles on the Flash Gordon sequence, the low angles of Flash sliding into camera, and that monster just hitting the ground with his big claws. The Carman thing is cool. I want to see more of that, and I love that Eva Strongbird in the Marine. That's really funny. I love characters that just throw a black mask on their eyes and we're not supposed to know who it is, like Robb and the Boy Wonder. We could never tell who that was. Camera, you have a mask. Oh, where'd the cameraman go? You put a mask on. Take the mask off. Oh, good, you're back. Okay, go. That was, I can never tell with a mask. Oh, anyway, look, this stuff is killer. Robb did a great job. Let's get Robb on the show real quick and talk to him right now.
Is Butch Hartman.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I can't hear you. Let me see what I got.
Can you hear me?
I got you now.
There you go. Can you hear me? Can you see? Let me see you, though. I got to see your face. There he is.
Camera on. Yeah. Hey.
Mr. Pratt.
Great seeing you, man.
You too, buddy. Let me make sure I got this recorded. Okay, we're recording all the technology. There we go. Bro, there you are. Good to see you. Hey, you know what? The light behind you is so bright.
Yeah, let me see.
And if you have a light in front of you? That's better.
Let me see.
But I love seeing you. Oh, that's cool. If I can see your desk behind you, that's very nice. There you go.
All right.
I love it. There you go.
All right, man.
I can see your beautiful face.
Thank you, handsome guy.
Hey, man. Oh, it takes a lot of work to keep this going. Believe me, this is the whole team. Dude, first of all, it's great to see you. It's been too long. We've talked a bit, but I have not seen your face for so long.
Yeah, it's been way too long. Even before all this weird quarantine stuff, I was always thinking of hitting you up for a lunch. It's been too long.
We're going to have to do that. Where do you live now?
In Glendale, California.
Okay, I'm in
Glendale. Yeah.
I'm in California. I'm in Calabasas, and so I'm like
okay.
Like back in the old days when there was traffic, it's at least like an hour and 20 minutes. But I think we can do it in like 20 minutes now with no traffic.
Yeah. Whenever I hear Calabasas, I grew up a huge Dodgers fan, and I remember on the back of the baseball cards, I love Steve Garvey, and it always said place of residence, Calabasas.
Oh, is that? Oh,
I think of Steve Garvey every time I hear Calabasas.
He was the celeb of choice back then. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, dude. So look, I love your room. It's I've had a couple other guests on the show now, and it's great seeing these animated. You guys with the old school light desk in the back, with the old spinny registration desk. You're like, well, first of all, let's talk about we'll talk about your present, but let's go back into your past a little bit. How you and I met. We met because you worked on Danny Phantom as a storyboard artist.
Yeah. And that was, oh my God, pivotal time in my career. I had just been animating for about 10 years, and you feel like a Jedi Knight at that time at Disney. And it was so hard to climb that mountain and get up there. And then traditional animation went away. And I had to kind of make a choice. Like, am I going to keep drawing? Because I've invested so much time drawing. Do I get into Maya? And I decided I want to get into, I wanted to stick with drawing. So I got into storyboarding and would get a couple little freelance jobs there, but it really didn't expose how little I knew about cinematic screen language. And I struggled mightily on your show. And there was times I was so frustrated because now I was 10 years older, but had to go back to the bottom of the mountain and start climbing back up again. And I thought, God, this guy is so demanding. But now I get it. You're demanding. That's why your cartoons were so great, because you are demanding and you have a standard that you want to get up to. So it was a challenging time in my career. But I look back on it as a really pivotal time. And it's something too, you know, when I'm a dad and you got to give advice, or when you're leading other people, when you're giving advice to people that are struggling, you remind them that, you know, winning is fun. Winning feels good and it's enjoyable, but you're probably not learning as much when you're winning. It's when you're losing and you really have to dig in. Nobody wants to be there. It's uncomfortable. We don't like it, but take some consolation that that's probably when you are learning.
No, absolutely. And I want to say that you rose to the challenge, dude, like huge. Cause like, and you've gone through this now, cause I think you've actually directed on a bunch of shows now. You've directed and you've run things. And, you know, you've got deadlines to meet, you got a quality level to hit, and you're not trying to be mean to anybody, but you're like, look, we need it to be like this. So later on, it'll be easier for people to, you know, to follow what you're putting down here. Absolutely.
Yeah. Being considerate of everybody, like you said, that follows after you. You're making it easier on them and not kind of passing the buck on them and having them figure it out.
You were so good and such a nice guy. And we connected really because you were a Superman fan. I remember.
Yeah. You and I are major, huh?
Oh, big time. In fact, you were such a Superman geek. You like out geeked me. You like knew stuff about Superman that I didn't know, and I didn't think anybody.
Oh my God.
You knew something about like the 80s TV shows and stuff like that.
Well, and then you played it a little bit close to the vest. I had to do some digging, and then meeting John Newton, who played Superboy. Only because that happens, I found out you had auditioned for that same role. And you did not let me know that when we were sharing our Superman love. I had to dig for that.
I didn't get the job. Actually, I got auditioned, but they told me straight up, like, Butch, you're too short. We want a taller guy. So I'm short, but, you know, compact. And they have one of these big, tall, statuesque guys. But that would have been fun. But hey, let's just talk a little bit. So you did Danny Phantom. You storyboarded for me. And then that was in the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003. And where'd you go after that?
So after that, I really struggled with you, and I felt like it was weird. Disney always felt like such this comfort zone for me, you know? So I would hang out with friends that were working at Disney, and I would kind of describe, oh man, I'm really struggling at this Nickelodeon job, and I feel bad, and Butch is probably staying up late and doing the work for me. And then as I would kind of vent and bemoan this a little bit, like a friend of mine had a show and he's like, well, I'll take you over, and maybe it's a comfort thing, maybe Disney, it'll be easier for you. And it really wasn't that. I was kind of, it was just that it's the cinematic screen language. Like now I see when artists are struggling at boards, I see it because I went through all the same struggles. You feel like, well, I know how to draw and I know how to read a script. Right. So I know how to draw the script. What I didn't know was humans have been watching movies and filmed entertainment for like 100 years. They're kind of conditioned to seeing certain things hook up, and there's like a whole language, a cinematic language that I needed to learn. But as soon as those kind of light bulbs got put on, and I had a roommate on the Danny Phantom thing that I got to give him credit. This guy, Shant Nigagosian.
Oh, Shant,
really, you know,
I'll get Shant on the show. Shant is unreal. Shant's so good.
Yeah. And he was a great guy to meet at that time in my life because we connected on the same things too. We loved Superman and Back to the Future and Indiana Jones and Star Wars and everything. So we would have a TV in our office because we shared office, and we'd have those movies on. And as Shant would kind of drill these cinematic rules into my head, then I would see these movies in a whole different way. And sometimes I would stop and go, oh my God, Shant, this is what you were talking about. Oh, like motivating the camera. Like the camera just doesn't move on its own. It's on a newspaper of Superman, and then Perry White has to pick it up, and the camera follows him to his face as he's saying, I want this guy to go with Daily Planet like peanut butter and jelly, you know, like that motivation of it. And like every shot should be motivated. Every cut should be motivated. And once those light bulbs spring on, oh my God, I obsess anyway. I'm very, like with Superman, right? I obsess, and I just watch my movies, at least movies that I knew already, so I don't have to be entertained by them anymore. I'm going to watch Indiana Jones again over and over and over and over. I'm wearing my Indiana Jones shirt today in honor of that. Because I want to just like know like how they did it, and actually picture like if I had that script, how would I have boarded that sequence and see what Spielberg did with it. And so that this whole Danny Phantom thing, like I said, I was losing at the time. I was struggling, and I didn't like being in that. I didn't like, you know, not delivering for you. I wanted to deliver for you. And so I just really studied it, got passionate about it, really love it. And you know, to admit too, at first I wasn't passionate about it. I was still crying that traditional animation went away and still hoping that, well, I'll just do this in the meantime till Disney figures out that they really want 2D again, and then they'll call me back, and then I'll go back and do it, you know?
Right.
But it took really like loving story and getting passionate about it and watching my movies in a different way. And then only then the storyboarding took off, and it led to directing opportunities. And so from that Danny Phantom job, I went back to Disney, worked on a couple Disney shows. It didn't take long. Once I had this passion about it and this obsession, then I was starting to direct on a show for one of your buddies, for Dave Thomas on Jack Thomas. I'm sorry, Jack Thomas.
Oh, Jack. So many Thomases. Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, Jack Thomas on The Replacement. So I was already directing. Maybe it didn't take long. It was maybe a year and a half or 2 years after I struggled on Danny a little bit.
You know, you've always had talent, Rob. And I what would you say to people out there who have talent? I mean, everyone's got some kind of talent. If you want to get in cartoons and you pursue it, you do have some talent, but finding that cinematic joy and that cinematic ability, like you're saying, to tell a story is so. I tell people with storyboards all the time, I go, this is not for weak people. This is not a weak person's thing.
No.
You've got to really, really figure out, like, you know, how do you tell, not just draw the drawings and, get through it. It's like, how do you make the viewer 100 years from now who's watching this, someone's going to watch this someday, you're never going to even meet them. And you've got to be able to tell that story super clear.
Yeah. And one thing that's kind of great when we're working in children's entertainment, the clarity then is even more important. It's got to be clear enough for a child to understand. And that really forces you to show things clearly.
Mm-hmm. You know, I would always say, look, man, I don't know if I said this to you. I think I said to other people, like, if you're unsure, go to a close-up. I can just go to a close-up of the character's face. You can get a lot out of eye movements, just one little eye movement. Anime does it all the time. And Sergio Leone used to do it all. I used to watch in Sergio Leone movies. Like, there'd be this huge, the camera would be panning this giant, vast landscape, and then boom, you're close on the guy's face. So you go from this super far shot right into his face, and you're like, whoa, what happened there? Yeah. So there's ways to take an audience on a trip with you, and it's really cool. But I got to hand it to you, man. You really hung in there. And Rob, you've become, not that you weren't talented before, but man, you've just become this unbelievable animator, and the stuff you do. And let's talk about that. I just watched your collection of awesomeness you sent me with your the Superman stuff and the Flash Gordon stuff, dude.
That's so fun to do.
And I also loved, what was the last cartoon that misses something in the Marine? What was that called?
Oh, Eva Strongbird and Marine.
And that's just, is that just one scene, or is that a whole short that you did? So
I'm teaming up with Dez Taylor. This whole social media thing is awesome. So I meet this artist. I think his work's fantastic. Dez Taylor. He lives in England. And we connected over Superman. We love our shared thing of Superman. And then as we would chat and talk online, he goes to Comic-Con, comes out to America, Comic-Con every year. We meet up in person. And then Dez would go, Rob, I know nothing about story. I'm a visual guy. I've got these guys. I know you like Indiana Jones. I know you like World War II era. Your Superman is retro. I've got these two characters. They just look cool to me. And the names, Eva Strongbird and the Marine. And he drew them for me. And he's like, do you want to do the story? And then I'll kind of create the characters in that world. And I thought, boy, I had just gone to this. One thing that's great at Disney is you get these great guest speakers. And this guy, John Vorhaus, came by. He was trying to sell his book, The Comic Toolbox. And I thought, I got to check out this guy, what he's got to say. And he talked about comedy and little formulas. I'll help you out if you don't know comedy. But then one thing he said that really stuck, and sometimes it's just the simplest little thing, but then your mind, just like close it up. But he's saying if you're struggling constructing your story, think about why we tell stories. When we were cavemen, it was because, I went through something and it changed me and I learned about it and I want to tell you about it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, once you know what the character learns, that's the theme. And then, so now you set up like a first act. Why does this character need to learn this story? Why do they struggle learning the story? Then the climax is when they learn it. And he brought up Star Wars. We all love Star Wars. And everyone's broken down Star Wars, but he gave me my favorite one because it was so simple. It's like, what if, first act, you're introduced to this world where they're obsessed with technology. They've got droids, they've got spaceships, they've got gadgets for everything. But at the end of the act, Luke Skywalker gets what the theme is. Obi-Wan tells him there's something even better than technology. It's called the Force. Mm. Then you see all through Act 2, Luke kind of wrestle with that. There's even the anti-theme comes in, Han Solo going, there's no such thing as the Force. So then you look at the climax of that movie, how squarely it hits on that theme. He's trying to destroy the Death Star created by technology. He's got a droid helping him. Darth Vader, the villain, is kept alive by technology. He's so reliant on it. He's even going to have a little thing tell him to where to point and click until the big giant thing, use the Force. And you even see the character contemplate it, and then he goes with it. He learns something. So all of this stuff fascinated me. So when Dez brought up these two characters, I'm like, you know what? I really want to like exercise this idea that's been like kind of given to me. All right, I see these characters, and you're British and I'm American. Let's make one Brit and one American. And one of them's got to learn something, and it's got to be a universal idea that everybody can kind of get on board with. And then so I kind of laid out a story for maybe doing a graphic novel together. So I've got a story together. I'm so proud of it. I can't wait to execute it. And God, to be animated would be the ultimate, but you know that would take forever. So we'll try to maybe do a graphic novel on this. And in the meantime, I thought, Dez, I'm an animator. I want to like animate these characters, and I got voice actor friends, and so I made a little, I think 45-second bumper. I got some, and then internet again. Andrea Bellucci from Italy contacts me. Oh man, I love the films you're doing. If you need original music, hit me up. Andrea gives me this beautiful score. It sounds like a John Williams where there's a theme that's hummable and you can remember it, or like it's an A-Team theme, and it's awesome. So it's just always kind of like keeping busy, doing stuff, and making exciting collaborations with people. It's just it's fun. I love it.
Now everybody out there who's watching is they're a potential animator, artist. Everybody loves animation on this channel, and they love entertainment and things. How long did it take you to do the Superman stuff? Is that all your Superman stuff? Because I think I've seen more than that.
Yeah, I've done 2 Supermans, and then Warner Brothers kind of said, "Hey, that's enough."
They made you stop?
Yeah, they did.
Did you put it online, right? And people were like into it.
Yeah, it was weird, and not to bad talk Warner's, because obviously I still want to work for them when I can. Warner's was really excited when they saw the first one. Had me come in, had a great conversation. It sounded like maybe we'll do a whole series of these retro Supermans, and I got excited. And you know, maybe it's not professional of me. I shouldn't have done another drawing until we signed things. But I immediately went home and I boarded a Brainiac one, and I boarded a Bizarro one. And then John Newton was excited about the prospect of maybe doing the voice for it. So he was all up for, we recorded him, and I have an animatic for Brainiac that's never been done. And then the Bizarro one I started animating, and again, it's because it's about learning. I was at work, and I was like, asked the guy that did our 3D conversion, stereo conversions, like, do you need like big equipment to do that, or is that something you can do at home? Oh, you can do it with After Effects. I'll show you if you buy me dinner a couple nights, and I'll show you how to do it. So then it became learning again. I want to make this thing where you put the blue and red glasses on and it's 3D.
Yeah.
So I kept working on Bizarro, and then kept checking in with Warner. Hey, are you guys still interested? And they kept saying, yeah, we're still interested, knowing full well they wouldn't be interested in the short that I was boarding because they want to put their notes on it. But I just kept going. And to answer your original question, it took me about a year to make Superman, and then another year to make the Bizarro one, because I'm only working at night, and I'm a family man.
Everybody, you guys, and that's what I love about artists like you. You work 10-hour days, and you come home and want to keep going. I'm exactly the same way. I do the same thing.
Yeah. We're definitely cut from the same cloth that way.
I know exactly.
And so I end up doing the Bizarro one. And then, just it's Hollywood, and I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and there's toy deals, and there's all kinds of factors that are completely out of your control.
Right.
For anyone pitching a show, you got to know it's not just simply good enough to be a great show. It's got to fit into like a corporate strategy. It's got to fit with partners. For whatever reason that I'm not aware of, Warner just didn't want to go forward with it. And here I had made the Bizarro one, and then I thought, well, I did all this work. I'm proud of it. It's 3D. I posted it, and then Warner's kind of let me know, okay, you know what? We really like that you did the one, but maybe that's enough, and you shouldn't do them. And I like to think, maybe because they look official, they look like real Warner Brothers cartoons. Maybe they don't want to dupe the audience or anything. So I respectfully stopped.
Well, you're such a cool guy, dude. They look amazing, and the Flash Gordon stuff.
Thank you.
What I love about the Flash Gordon stuff, not only does it look amazing, but the shots you chose in that, like with the giant claw monsters hitting him, and then his foot comes into the camera, and there's a lot of low angles that are extremely cool,
right?
And very, very cool. And by the way, I was thinking, who the heck animates Flash Gordon? And I was like, it's so cool, because I love the '80s movie with Sam Jones as Flash Gordon.
Yeah, it's fantastic, huh? Isn't it? It was kind of a natural progression. Once Warner Brothers said, "Hey, maybe no more Superman," which is a shame because the Brainiac one. Brainiac always has this skull ship that he flies in, and I thought, I'm going to put it in my Superman classic setting, which is very World War II.
I think
Art Deco.
Gil Kane designed that ship. Was it Gil Kane in the comics?
I'm not sure, but when I would research, it's always throughout the eras, it's always been kind of redrawn and redesigned.
Yeah.
And I thought, how would it look like in the Superman classic world? So for me, it's almost like it's very Art Deco, almost like the Rocketeer's helmet. And then when Superman goes inside, it's like the interior of a Flash.
Have you done the Rocketeer? Did you do the Rocketeer, by the way?
I haven't done that, but that would be a good one
to do.
Perfect. Yeah.
Dude, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You got to do that. I actually auditioned for that movie too.
Oh my God, really? Oh, that's so cool, man.
Obviously, I was a horrible actor. I didn't get jobs in any of these movies. But
no, but it's like what I said with cartoons. There's so many factors in, right? There's agents involved and deals involved and other projects involved, and you can't. I learned you can't take it personally, and I would hope that you wouldn't. You're awesome at what you do. It
was just very funny, man. And are you from Michigan too, Rob? Is that true or not?
No, I'm born and raised in North Hollywood, right here in LA.
Wasn't okay? I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Okay, anyway, but I know we had so much in common. And what would you say if you had advice for anybody out there who's wanting to be an animator or wanting to do what you do? I want to animate shorts. I want to work for Disney. I want to work on storyboards. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I would say, passion and drive goes so long. I didn't draw the best of all the people I knew. I wasn't the best animator of all the people I knew, but nobody loved it as much as I did. And if you're passionate about what you do, nobody's going to be able to stop you. They're going to, like Han Solo was trying to stop Luke, right? There's no such thing as the Force. Luke wasn't going to listen to him. You've got to be passionate. I couldn't get into the best art. I was raised by a single mom who suffered from mental illness. We were on welfare. Like school was not like even an option for me. So I just got knowledge wherever I could because I was passionate, and passion is what inspires other people. So be passionate at what you do, be nice to other people, and people will be willing to help. The animation community, when you find people that love cartoons like you do, they're going to help. They're going to share. I just put a post of, I'm dealing with my own original guy, Carman, right now. And I'm no art director.
Well, that was the other one. Yes, Carman. What is that all about? Tell me about Carman.
Well, that's a passion project too, because I'd go to these Spike and Mike animation festivals when I was in my 20s, and I saw those shorts, and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to have a short up there. And so I started this guy, passion, inspiration. I live in Los Angeles. When I drive, I'm a really mellow guy, and I think I try to be as sweet as I can, but I get angry, when people are inconsiderate. So I'm like, okay, let's make fun of this. Let's have a guy that's just like me. Like he's got it all together, but he's pissed off when he gets in his car, and he does all the things that we wish that we would do, but we know better. And so I started animating this guy, and like I was saying about your question in the artistic community, like I'm no art director, but I try to slap some color on him, and I know something's missing. I know good color when I see it. I can't necessarily do it yet. But then I put it up on my Facebook. Hey, artist friends, help me out. And so many people will write you, try this, try that. So if you're trying to break into doing this stuff, if you're passionate about it and you're really nice about it, this community will help you out. And I think the only thing that holds you back is if you're just not nice to people or you're just doing things kind of, flippantly, and you don't care. And that's the thing I said to you at the head of our interview, Butch, working for you, you were demanding on me, and that was tough. But you were demanding because you cared, you're passionate, and that's why your cartoons resonate with people. Yeah,
well, thank you, man. And hope I was kind of nice to you at least. Hope I wasn't too mean to you back then.
No, when I say these words, you were strict, but you were never not nice. You were always nice about it. I always had the feeling that even though you were demanding, you were rooting for me. And that's a key thing with teaching somebody that's learning, because it's hard, it's humbling to be told that you're not there yet.
Yeah.
But
it's never a fun thing. And by the way, it's never a fun thing for me if I had to supervise somebody and tell them they needed to improve, because I know because I was told that many times, and I know how crushing it is, how it can be.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, because I lost jobs. I would lose jobs. And it'd be like, oh, that's nothing more crushing than that. But again, like you said, the passion was no one's going to stop me. I'm going to keep doing this. And you're exactly the same way. I love that.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Hey, man. Well, look, where can we find you? Where can the audience find you? On social, got any social media? Where can we look for you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook. Hit me up, you guys, and write questions about animation. It's fun to talk about. I've got a YouTube channel, Robb Pratt, where 2D animation is not dead. You can see all of my Superman and Flash Gordon cartoons there. I'm on LinkedIn, and I just love this art form so much, and I love talking to other people. So please look at the cartoons, like them, interact with them, ask me questions. On Carman, I even try to rope people in. I'm putting a little tutorial at the end of each one that's like just a brief thing about how each step of making a cartoon space. So like the first one's on story, second one's on boarding it, you know, like, and I'll go, there's going to be 6 episodes and each one will have a little tutorial that will kind of be an introduction on how to make these things. But I've also put like a special email on there, robprattcarman@gmail.com. And that's Robb with 2 B's. And that's just for people who want to like ask questions. Hey, I'm making my own film and I don't know how to composite this, or something's not working right. Can you give me a tip? And I'll be there for you, because I wanted people to be there for me.
That's awesome, dude. And I tell people all the time, and I want to just reiterate it here. When I went to college, when I went to Cal Arts, the best thing I got out of Cal Arts, not the teachers were great, but the community of other artists around me are what made me, because I was competitive, and we were all competitive in a good way. Like, oh my God, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? Oh, and you would just learn so much just from hanging out and having a hamburger with somebody and talking Disney all day long. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're out there and you're by yourself, you're not alone, especially with the internet these days. We had no internet back then, but it's like you get a community of artists around you, writers, whatever, and just learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. God, if they had this when I was a kid, I don't know if I would have ever left my room. I would have been on the internet writing to all the Disney animators, or, you know, maybe they wouldn't respond, but maybe some would, and I would have been thrilled.
Oh, dude.
But you can learn so much.
When the quarantine lifts, you can get out of your room again, Robb. You're going to have to get out. And we'll have you in the studio next time, if that's okay with you. I'd love to have you.
Oh my God, I would love it.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great seeing you, man. Thanks for being on, and we will talk to you later, okay?
Okay, man. Great seeing you, Butch. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Robb. See you later, buddy.
All right, bye.
Okay, Robb Pratt, my old pal, man, I am so proud of him. He has really come such a long way and just loves what he does. Did you hear the passion in his voice? He loves what he does, and that's what has to happen for everybody, whether you're an artist, musician, athlete, whatever it is. And by the way, artists can be athletes. We can be athletes too. But whatever it is, you really need to just have that passion, because it really comes across in your work. And no matter what gets in your way during your career, if you're passionate about it, you'll keep going, and you'll always get to that top level of success because you love what you do. So I hope you guys love what you do and just feel Robb's passion. It's so cool. And Robb, thanks again for letting us share your work. Let's get back together again. Love to have him back on the show. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw Robb's version of Superman right now. Okay, here we are. We're going to draw Robb Pratt's version of Superman. And look, I actually brought some special guests. I have my very own Superman figurines over here. I have this really cool one that's a retro Superman, like the original design of him from the 1930s. And this one is a great Superman figure. This is a replica of the one Jerry Seinfeld has on his shelf. If you look at the Seinfeld show, there's always a little Superman doll on one of his bookshelves, and that's this one. So cool. And look, his cape comes right off. Oh my gosh. Yet he can still fly. When I was a kid, I didn't think Superman could fly without his cape. But we all know he can. As a matter of fact, he's a fictional character, so he can do anything. All right, here we go, guys. Going to draw Robb Pratt's version of Superman, and here we go. I'm drawing with a very inexpensive Sharpie marker and a pad of newsprint. You don't need to be a millionaire to become a great artist. Start with basic materials. You guys can do it. Here we go. So Superman is a human being, obviously, but it's a stylized version of a human being. So we're going to draw a human head. Okay, so we draw the human head. And it's very angled. Robb's designed him in a very angular way. So we're going to come out with his cheek here, and his chin is very angular like this. And Superman's obviously a chiseled dude. So there's sort of our head shape. Can you see that? We kind of got our dome for the hair, the brow line here. And the nose, Superman's kind of a handsome dude, so his nose is kind of straight. Again, very stylized, very stylized. Stylized means very minimal line work and very, like you don't have to draw every detail to make the details come across. So, and then his eyebrows will go up from the brow line and back down because he's kind of intense. And I'm using the flat side of the marker to get a wider line with that. And so there's his eyes, and we'll kind of put his eyes there. And we can sort of see that's sort of what his face is beginning to look like. And his ear right there. The hair. He's a very well-groomed guy, Superman. And his head, let me see, his hair comes down like that. Now he's got the famous Superman curl right there. And don't forget the Superman curl. Hair comes up. Always draw the hair as a shape. Don't draw individual hairs. You're going to spend the rest of your life drawing them. Draw the hair as a big shape and put some details in it later. Okay, so that's sort of Superman's hair like that. And if I wanted to add more detail, I could add some hair like that. You know, a couple little shapes there, a couple little lines, sort of get that well-groomed Superman look, right? His ear is almost a backwards number 3 right there. Now his neck, he's a strong guy, obviously, because he's Superman. So his neck is a little wider than his head. It comes out from the side. So we're seeing the Superman visage show up there. And then his shoulders would be straight like that, right? And his cape is always, I'm very curious how his cape is attached. The guy flies 9 million miles an hour, yet his cape never comes off. What's up with that? And then we have some wrinkles here, just a couple lines, right? We got to put his mouth in there. Butch, where's his mouth? Okay, his mouth, let's give him a super, you know, kind of stern look there. Okay, so there's his mouth, sort of, you know, real angular. And his chest would be sort of like this, right? That's sort of just the shape of the chest. He has sort of a rib cage that comes down like this. Again, when you're drawing superheroes, they're built beautifully all over because they're super. And you want to give them some shoulders here, not too cartoony. I mean, this is a cartoony version, it's a stylized version, but you don't want to go like big bulbous muscles here. You know, like okay. So yeah, so kind of keep his muscles, you know, loose there. This is a very loose drawing of Superman. And there we go. And so we're going to put, now we're missing the one big thing about Superman, the S on his chest. I've been drawing this for years, but here's how you start off. It's kind of like a baseball diamond. You go up, not up. You go across, you go across, not up. Learning directions. All right, and then you do some angles down here. It's like a diamond shape, like drawing a regular diamond, right? Now, to do the Superman S, you're working with the negative space, meaning you're working with the space that's not the S. Let me show you what I mean. You draw this little triangle up here. Butch, what is that? What does that do? Then you draw a little shape over here. I still don't understand. What are you doing? Then you come down here, straight, come around and around like that. Imagine the S in your head if you're doing a black and white drawing. And then we put a diamond down here, a little triangle down there. And there's the Superman S. Let's put some eyes in here. He's looking for bad guys off to his, off to the side there. And so there is, and let's have a bullet bounce off of Superman. How about that? How about a bullet bounces off? You have a bullet flying right toward his face. A couple of impact lines. But the bullet didn't hurt him. Just bounced right off his face right there. Pa-ting! So there you go. Make that sound at home. Pa-ting! Let's see a sound effect. Pa-ting! There you go. All right, I'm going to sign this. Always sign your work. This is Robb's version, but I did this drawing, so I'll just sign that. But Robb Pratt gets all the credit for designing that version of Superman. Way to go, Robb Pratt. Thanks for being my guest on TOONA. Did you guys enjoy seeing the interview with Robb? Did you enjoy his work? What did you think? Leave a comment down in the comment section. I thought the work myself was pretty cool. Again, I'm a huge Superman fan. Robb and I definitely nerded out to that when we first met each other. You know, it's always nice to find camaraderie in what you're interested in, you know. But let me know who else you want to see me have as a guest on TOONA. I think it's just great to talk to other cartoonists and animators and anyone involved in the animation industry, whether it's a voice person, a producer, a straight up animator, a background stylist, anybody you think would be fun for me to have on the show. Let's hear who you guys want to have on. I'll definitely do my best to reach out to that person, okay? And if you want to bring a cartoon onto TOONA, if you're an animator and you want me to see it and review your work, maybe even bring you on the show and talk to you, send your cartoon idea to askbutchhartman@gmail.com. That's askbutchhartman@gmail.com. It's got to be family friendly. And I really want them to be in color and have music and sound effects. It's okay if it doesn't have, full sound effects or full music, but I want to see things that are as almost complete as possible because I want to be able to bring on people that are really, really serious about animation in their career. I really, really do. And again, keep it family friendly or we're just not going to show it, okay? All right, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you watching the channel. Again, let me know what else you want to see on here. My job is to entertain you, and that's what I'm here to do. All right, thanks so much, and don't forget, art and Superman gives you power. Use it wisely. Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the NOOG Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.